Welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. To those who are new, we are a bunch of mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people in our integrated brains and our restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating selves because we don't have inner childs that need reparenting. Just so you know, the mindset, mindfulness, and mindset work for people who own their embodied brain, which involves a brain that is integrated and a mind that is yours. That's why you have an empowered masculine and a body that's an empowered feminine. And so, with that being said, brain, mind, body alignment, and you do personal development, self-help, spiritual growth, because that seed of enlightenment, you have access. The kingdom of God, you have access. And we do talk about different topics: God, religion, source, science, all together, because we know that anybody can have their own opinion about anything, and that doesn't make it true or false. We know where data is found, and we don't think of the earth as flat. Okay? But we also don't make too much fun of the flat earthers. We just know that some people like to use their brains in different ways. And that's where we're going to leave that. So we take pride. No, we know how to be grounded in reality. Okay? So once again, Sam Harris has a beautiful quote, and we also have our lovely Sadhguru. But here is Sam Harris. If your beliefs are not falsifiable, if there's no scenario that could convince you that your most cherished opinions are in error, then that's proof that you didn't get them by being in contact with reality. So number one. Number two, integrated brains are flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable, because when you are a restorative embodiment self who's creating resiliency in it, you own the core narrative, relation, and soul self. So you are a differentiated self. So I create differentiation when I'm when I'm relating to you. I'm in my presence, I'm in my now. I don't have any preconceived notions necessarily. I'm aware of my implicit, explicit biases. I don't use effective realism. I simply am able to be emotionally, mentally, and physically mature. That's why I'm discerning and equanimous and loving. And that's what God is, for example, for me, because He is calm and centered, as well as knows good judgment and is wise and smart, versus those who think they know everything, who actively, though, provide us with the other aspect and coin. That way we do have free will. So some people will choose to consistently navigate with shame, blame, fault, revenge, and it's not Lucifer, and others will consistently choose to navigate in pure love and the essence of that which is enlightenment, and they're great, and that's why we have a fun time together. And there's human evolution consciousness, science, spiritual, and spirituality come together here with me, and so do new stories so that we can continue bringing forth our humanity. And it's with people who take healing trauma seriously, not projecting any of Diego's family around. But we do have facade people, so we learn how to allow ourselves to speak our truth, which is why for my love life stories, I knew every step of the way that I would consistently become exactly who Maria is. It's called love. All you need is love. Yeah, that's all this is. This is a human being who stayed open-hearted. No, my faith in humanity was not broken, because why would it be? I know God. I know Jesus. I know Holy Spirit. I know angels. I know spirit. I know source. Like what faith in humanity? So when you learn from Patrick Tiahan, those who have their faith broken in humanity, yeah, they need him. And that's why when I meet teenagers, I'm not really going to do much, because their angry button is still protecting their 3-year-old, but they're refusing to take what is called ownership, the courage to go to Patrick Tian to heal and to become what is a functional inner child adult. So when somebody wants to say Cusco for the rest of their life, I'm not going to be like, you can't, you have to grow up. No, Peter Pan actively doesn't grow up, and he has a good time on the island with Pinocchio and Wendy, and then I get to make fun of them here, and we all get to make fun of them together, and they say, how dare you, Luciferian era, and we laugh together and say, well, not really, but okay, I totally think we have different opinions. And that's about it. You stupid. Again, I think you really don't like how I'm coming across. Do we want to continue engaging? I'm pretty sure time is of the essence, because whoever you meet, speak to them like it is the last time you may have that opportunity. It will transform your life. However, speaking to them with equanimity, discernment, and love is very different, because that's where you have those anchored in their ventral vagal state, and therefore ventral energy, and that's when you have an actual whole self, a higher self in a live body in front of you. When you have what is a modulated embodiment, dysregulated self, you got Cusco, which is their fake self, which is a pause self, but that's still them, like my facade friend. So we allow ourselves to remember to appreciate that exchange. which is why it's fun. Because even when we are not really into it, we still will have fun, because time is not money. Time is life, but it is also money, but it is life. And so we won't waste time with stupid masculines, which are also distorted feminines. But we will learn how to, in time, respect all differences. I know I did. God kept teaching me and still is teaching me. He said, no, don't judge suffering, Maria. Please remember, some people are going to stay in the frequency, and they're going to make it their mission to tell you why everyone supposedly, so when everybody makes these everyone and no one, it's like, yeah, I do it all the time. When I want people to be, yeah, everyone loves always. No, wait, that's not true. I forgot. Not everybody has a secure attachment, non-traumatized body yet, because they don't want Stephen Porges, and they don't believe in the oxytocin gene hormone or neuroscientists. In fact, I'm the pseudoscience lady, but look, lo and behold, I don't believe neuroscience, Patrick McNamara, and how he proves there's no demons inside of anybody. That's just pretend. Sure, okay, cool. So, Sadhguru again, love is quality, love is not what you do. Love is what you become. So yeah, we do know love is a quality. It's a quality called the embodied, integrated, solo self, core narrative relational, and that's Sadhguru. No, that's Dr. Daniel Siegel. So I learned from a lot of different people, and I'm really excited for today. We have some energies about, but I forget if it's going to be tomorrow. I need to double check. There's an eclipse and a full moon, I think that is. And so yeah, there's a bunch of beautiful energies around. Let's see. I'm going to do some research while I'm talking to you all. Lunar eclipse. Let's see. I'm thinking, yep, today or tomorrow or between. So happy, basically, blood moon, lunar eclipse. We'll find out what time. What time is it? On March 14th. So we'll have some channel guidance, food for thought tomorrow. And it is the blood moon lunar eclipse on March 14th, 2025 is set to bring major shifts in career, love, and health for all zodiac signs. Wow, isn't that amazing? You know what I learned about the 4D collective, though, is that they consistently do karma and fate. So they don't actively become independent self-agents of their own selves with spirit, source, and ascension energies. And I learned it because of me, light body, light body, light body, light body, rainbow body expansion. And my first year around, I said, okay, you have seasons, and let's break free from reading astrology. Leave it alone. That way our left mode, masculine alone. In fact, that's why I don't have only. No, I have masculine and feminine. They're empowered together. It's called integrated brain. And Maria uses her mind, and she uses herself, and she doesn't have self-doubt. And just because I became a mystic doesn't mean I don't believe in God. No, actively God is the number one. Jesus is the guide, and Holy Spirit, and then it expanded to more. So when you have a left and right brain that work together, put your left foot in and your right foot in, and you shake it all about that. That's called I am okay with the consilience approach, because only the left makes a fuss about the consilience approach. Dr. Daniel Siegel explained that to me. It's like, that's why I have fun with all information. And there's, excuse me, you're confusing science, spirituality. No, left brain, no, I'm not. I know how to bring it together. You just don't know how to follow my train of thought, which you don't have to, because we have different ways of looking at things. So that's the part of what a left brain is a person who's trying to control, because that's unbridled self-expression, by the way. It's also because they have structural dissociation, exiles, protectors, teenager in a room trying to prove themselves because their performance, which is why my facade friend to me is a clown, who is an asshole. But I learned how to respect all clowns and assholes, because it's called insecure human beings who are performing because their child parts are not their own. And as Patrick Tiahan and Terrio point out, they don't know how to love themselves first. So they actively are going to be playing out their fate and their karma. I don't do that. I do my destiny, which is why I do Dharma. Also, I know everything happens for a reason. Every action has a reaction, and everything that is meant to come will always find its way to come. And the first thing that is a gift called life. Miracle of life. God gave it to me. I cherish it. So all 24 hours, they're going to be cherished. And that is exactly how a conscious human being does it. And that's where Neil deGrasse Sciences also tells you that it's a miracle, because you might have a trillion, an absurd number, where you will be reborn. It's like, it's genetically impossible. I would tell Neil deGrasse about my future life and husband, and how I know who they are, and who also is in my future. But I know that he doesn't believe in Akashic record readers. I think he doesn't. because I'm pretty sure, he won't believe it. He'll be like, you can't prove it. I'm like, yeah, I can't. Also, it will be in the future. You won't be here, Neil. I mean, even if you were, you wouldn't remember being Neil. So, ergo, I won't remember being Maria. But I did get to share the story. And I still do in this lifetime with all those who will hear. And it's not just a story. So the future husband knows it's true because they don't make fun of my Clairs. And anybody who has, it's okay. I'm woo-woo pseudoscience. I respect academia for a reason. And the smart ones are all out there teaching us about becoming the securely attached, non-traumatized, integrated brain people. Come on over, mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people. So we're self-empowered and enlightening. That's why our lifestyle always involves anchored ventral vagal state people. And when we have the ones who are like this, we know how to handle Cusco because Potch doesn't know how to handle Cusco. Love and life for a 5D mystic, spiritual, mindful person with an inner growth mindset. I'm going to read you now. Are expansive. So that's love is expansive, life is expansive. And it also, in both cases, allow our true self to come forth. So with people, our differentiated self, that's why we do a we. And so I'm differentiated, you're differentiated. I have thoughts and feelings, I express them Maria's way. You have thoughts and feelings, you express them your way. And we will, in our open-hearted, vulnerable moments, continue to be open-hearted, vulnerable, and not tell each other how to talk about our subjective experiences or our subjective sensations or images or affects or meanings or behaviors. And so we don't do, I'm going to tell you. No, I'm present because I'm flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable, because I'm curious, open, accepting, and loving. These are, again, Dr. Daniel Siegel's acronyms. And so I'm curious of everything that will come out of your mouth, the way you will tell it to me. That's what a differentiated self does. You're curious the same. Now, if you correct me and try to tell me how to speak, now we have my facade friend. Now we have a pretender. We have a hypervigilant half a brain or some shit's going on, and I'm going to say no. That's not what I said. And the minute you don't accept it, whether it's in your head where you're still talking over me like my facade friend or my face, I'm going to learn, okay, they don't want to get to know me. They think they can tell me who I am. And now I'm beginning to be put on a mask because you're going to use the words that you've decided make my life. That doesn't take away from Maria, though. So when you have your ego, you don't have self-doubt, you're self-agent, you're empowered, you don't feel, oh my God, they disrespected me. The people who still feel disrespected, they need to be seen, soothed, safe, secure. That's why Patrick Chan and Terry Real are there for them. Empowered, enlightening, 5D, mystics, functional child adults, spiritual and mindfully living, loving people don't need to be heard because we will have said it already. And it's okay. Excuse me, you're confusing science spirituality. No, I'm not. I know what I'm doing. No, because okay, let me try again. No, because, okay, let me hear what you have to say. That's it. And it's not because I cancel out mine, is that I don't need to prove it. I can't prove it. I won't prove it. It's a waste of my time to try to even bother. You're not hearing me. You made me repeat myself 3 times. You don't understand. So this is what happens when you meet an empowered, securely attached, non-traumatized 3-year-old, 1-year-old, all of it. And I'm not a child of myself, though. I don't need you to pat me on the back. I don't even need you to do this. I actively know what I'm talking about, and you're the one who interacted with me in a way of thinking that you can tell me what I'm talking about. Instead of being curious, open, accepting, and loving. So when you meet a non-differentiated person, that's why it's clear, because they're not curious, open, accepting, loving. They don't have Krishna Lila. They, in fact, don't even have Shiva. They have Kali, and that's it. And so unbridled self-expression is fun for those of us who don't need to prove ourselves because we're not a performance. We're not an act. It's not a circus. I'm Maria. There's my ego. I'm myself. I know where I learn things, and that's about it. And I know discernment and equanimity and humility and integrity, and actively data's data, and nobody owns it. And anybody who begins to say disrespect, I just think, okay, obviously we're not going to have a good time together because you think you know everything and you just use a word that makes me know you don't like me. So I think it's better if we just go different ways. Unless you want to keep talking calmly, though, not in a way of using a tone where... So we experience life and love fully in our 24 hours thanks to being present, attuning to each other, resonating, and here's where we don't correct each other as differentiated selves. And we trust, and that's why we create them we, as Dr. Daniel Siegel would call it. And those are empowering, healthy self-worth, all types of relationships. And that's why it's a good time. And we're going to keep growing that at IHP for sure. And so the lovely world of love, life, and leadership for the 5D Collective involve those who are integrated brain, restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating people. We love easily, we live easily, and we have relationships that consistently grow. So love is easy, life is easy, relationships are easy, 24 hours are easy, is easy. Well, I mean, we like to share it with those who will want to share it with us. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. I got 24 hours, so I know that I might die tonight. Or maybe once I'm done with this. I'm not kidding. This is something true. I've been able to process that in the years when I was younger, thanks to Marcus Aurelius, who said, Maria, why worry about something you can't do anything about? And here's where my teenage boyfriend, he said this to me: the only reason you believe in God is because you're afraid of death. And I was like, no, that's not it. I feel it in my bones. That was the only time I actually did what I did, because he showed me what a person who I had chosen, he had chosen me. We're going to get married. We were talking about vows and all that great stuff, and he's now arguing with me. No, he's actively making a statement. And this is the effective realism, irrefutable facts that people use now that they're even as grown-ups. I mean, again, I'll pause my reading because to me, I'm simply able to explain to you that as a 16-year-old, I'm mindfully aware of Maria. I'm aware, accountable, regulating in my prefrontal. With my awareness, I have no destabilization. My intentions are kind. I'm going to catechism. I'm speaking words. I'm of faith, not you. And you actively have the capacity, audacity, whatever, to tell me that my is based on fear. How dare you, as a teenager? We all will have the black and white thinking. That's why you mature in time. How dare you come at me with that when I know what your bias is? Because and if you don't like hearing about people killing themselves, fast forward. He had the experience of losing a friend who killed himself. And he also has influence of one of the parental figures talking to them about evil in the world. And if there had been no evil, then if there had been God, there would be no evil. And I had already heard this in my catechism, that people don't believe in God because of the evil that exists. Please be advised, evil doesn't exist except for Michael Stone's scale. Yes, they all need therapy, and the 7 to 14 aren't charming to me, but they're definitely charming to the ones who follow them. Actually, the ones who follow them think they're badass. I find it it's buffoonery, but masculines have always made me think of clowns, which is exactly why I don't pay any attention to them, because they're using what is love and fear. I know where love is. They have the opportunity to choose fear. And that's why God keeps reminding me not to judge human suffering. All the ones who are in fear are people who need Patrick Tiahan and Terrio. You won't be able to convince anyone, not that I ever will have tried, because actively as a teenager, I tried to support people in their health. And one person, as I have many people who taught me how to be consistent and not a hypocrite, said, if I tell you to do something, you won't do it, will you? No, I won't. So why are you telling me what to do? You know what? You make a very good point. I'm so sorry. I was a hypocrite. And that was the last day I told anybody anything about what I thought they could do for their life so it would be better, meaning healthy. And I mean it. And that's why equanimity grows. So does discernment. And so you don't use your voice in any way, shape, or form as you consistently grow up if you're building resiliency as a restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating, mystic, spiritual, and or mindful person. And that is thanks to an inner growth mindset. So you don't crap on yourself when you're thinking. You don't think, oh my God, my sadness is making me vulnerable, my anger. You don't think of people actively, betraying you, like the teenage boyfriend, et tu, Brute. I mean, by the time I'm 19, I'm like, hey, God, so cowards. Let's talk about this. No Lucifer, just men who don't seem to know how to tell the truth, men who seem to just want to fuck people, women who I don't even know what to do about. And then I got to college, and now I'm a 45-year-old woman who makes fun of one woman and says, wedding bells. She does this thing of, after they fuck you, remember, don't think it. And I don't have any idea what she's about to say, because I'm like, who's the man who's going to have the guts to tell me that all he wants to do is fuck me, and then, basically what? I'm a piece of trash now, don't you know? That's how it works. You're broken. You're not marriage quality. I mean, if we really must go down the stereotypes, which is why I laughed when she did this thing, and then there were all these women laughing, and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It feels like I'm back to my teenage years with ignorant teenagers who know nothing about what life is or love, and who think that that's normal. Here's a good story for you. No, it's not. It's a sad one. So, as a teenager, I am talking to a girlfriend of mine who didn't inform me of why. So, my teenage boyfriend, he had a cheating spree. It was a regular every year for 3 years. By the fourth, he didn't admit it, which was hilarious, but it's okay because, cowards don't know how to tell the truth. That's why, even as a grown up, when I meet cowards, I don't bother. Because, again, a hypervigilant human being who doesn't go get Patrick Tiahan isn't anyone who I need to address, because the therapists have taught me how they're completely not hearing you anyways. And so has my facade friend, which is why I will call masculines, again, that are not empowered, stupid. And that's distorted feminines. And they're stupid to me because they lack the capacity to be self-aware, kind of regulating. But really what it is that, wow, you talk about vows, integrity. So this teenage boy, you talk about all this shit in effective realism tones. You haven't looked yourself in the mirror once. And today I have all the attachment trauma that lets me know how to explain to you something that's called your 0 to 8-year-old, your subconscious. Now people say, I don't believe in that, Maria. That's fine. You don't have to believe in it. In the meantime, what I can tell you is when I watch a woman do wedding bells and all these women laughing, and I think of college years and women and men whining about shit, I'm just thinking, call it what you want. In the meantime, what I know is life isn't actually all that suffering, and you don't have to actually have me explain anything. I'm good with it either way, but I do have an explanation for how you can get out of it. So the fact is, when you're a smart brain, you don't deny data because you don't like what it tells you. And smart brains know how to also admit to themselves, that's really tough. Admitting to myself that I didn't have a healthy childhood environment means that I will be, like Patrick Tian says, I'm going to be having to take really, really close look at how bad it was. And then I might get really, really angry, because then I'm going to become aware of I being denied a child-centric environment. And that I ruled my life based on shame, defectiveness, and did shit that made me basically become, I'm not even going to go down this path because I can only imagine the level of how much it can make a person feel, depending how old they are. Patrick Tian was lucky. He was 19 and he ended up in good therapy by then. And I can imagine a human being leading their entire life and then finally taking a close look and realizing that pretty much half of their life's gone by and they wasted it. Why? Well, not because of them. No, because of unhealthy self-worth, not self-regulating human beings who also didn't choose their trauma. But still, that's the part where Patrick Tiahan, as he says, it's not your job to have told a human being and or more who became parents to get here. Your job at that point is to realize, okay, I want to get out of this shit now. And I will take however long it takes. As Bessel van der Kolk points out, 20 years. So when somebody is smart, that means they will take the data, they will hear it, they will sit with it, and they won't reject it. The teenage boyfriend, let me go back to him, because seriously, a lot of people have their teenage version leading. That's why they get all pissy in their pants. He's doing this effective realism, this word that is so big. So basically, his idea is true and mine is not. The whole, I believe that you only believe because you're afraid. No. And the girlfriend, that story. So she told me, I didn't tell you about him cheating because I thought you would think that I was jealous or envious of you, because that's what girls did with me. That's what happened in my relationship. My boyfriend was told that I fucked every boy in town, and so he broke up with me, and then I took him back and I was like, what? Wait. You took him back? Come again? I was, at that point, I'm like, you took him back. He didn't even bother trying to ask you about this. He just dumped you for it. Not to mention, that's kind of sketchy. I mean, maybe he dumped her so he could go fuck some other guy. I don't know at that point, but I'm 16, 17. I'm thinking, you took him back. No, that's not happening. I ain't taking you anywhere back. I'd be like, fuck this shit. You didn't even come talk to me. What? That's not a relationship. That's bullshit. So FYI, securely attached, non-traumatized women, men, or theys that know healthy self-worth, that's bullshit. Doesn't matter how old you are. You'll have not taken anyone back the minute that you will have doubted my word, not even told me about it, and that's why cowards. So today we have attachment trauma educators. I know all about them and how many people refute every single bit of information they give them, to the point of allowing themselves, I want to say my modulated in courses, might I add. In courses, I get to hear people who say modulated embodiment, and you see the ghost face of people who are somatic experts in therapy, somatic, and they're like, But wait, it's not over with the funny stories. Guess what I get to meet? The ones who are married to the Freudian time. So I'm out having a good time. And I'm talking about all this beautiful attachment trauma information to a bunch of people who will listen to me and my mystic stuff, because I'm not ashamed of any of it. And there's two people they introduced me to, thinking that we'll hit it off. It's a couple. Yeah, it's a couple, man, woman. I'm going to leave alone the other stuff I was going to say. And they want to help people too. It's not the first time I hear this phrase, I want to help people. And then I find teenagers in a room who, yes, they're helping, yes. They're helping all the teenagers that will come together, and together they yell together, and there you go. They have fun. So I personally don't care to let you know about divisiveness. Yeah, not a big deal. The ones who stay cut off from Purusha Prakriti. You'll hear some people talking to you about those who don't have oneness consciousness as something of a problem. No, they say in the low frequency. It's called shame, blame, fault, revenge. They're Cuscos. They actively want to prove everything. They're hyper vigilant. They have highs and lows like the Zen master, so they're going to continue. In fact, they don't come together, which makes them weak. And that's okay though, because again, we're not in an action movie, and there's no reason for us to pinpoint them, which is why whenever I see any of them, I know what they're doing, because they pinpoint each other, and then they talk about each other as if there's a weak side and a strong side. And then you think, oh my gosh, they actively think that they know what's going to happen tomorrow. They don't know God, I guess. They must not know dark matter, dark energy, or an asteroid, or intelligence. That's how an enlightened mystic will tell you. Enlightened ones will inform you. When they get asked smart questions, they just do it this way. I do it Maria's way. So, what do you think about AI and the future? Is it going to be negative or positive? And you know what I love most of all is when they say, I'm sure I'm going to be misunderstood. You don't know that. You don't know if there's smart brains out there. I'm sure I'm going to be misunderstood. Not necessarily, but maybe. And I know I will use words too. I try to pay attention to those statements because I'm not sure of anything. No, I just know a bunch of different pieces of information and bring them together. But the person says it's not good or bad. And intelligence is intelligence, meaning it's always going to keep up the pace. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Meaning, I'm like, yeah, duh, any one of us who is Anima Mundi, no question. I know who wins, it's God. So the people who need a story, you know why they need a story? So what you want to know about non-securely attached people, they call secure attachment boring, because they actively don't like to navigate life from the ventral energy. Because anchoring in ventral energy means that you have this thing called bliss. I can be, and I can do, and and they think that's lazy. Little do they know, it's not. It's called eustress. But again, we don't have to force anybody to be in their eustress. It's called good stress. They can stay in this stress. That's why when you build resiliency with the restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating lifestyle, you will know. The external doesn't know. So we can talk about anything and everything every day now. My ears will know if you're resilient to restorative and like anchored ventral or not, because your nervous system, you wear your heart on your face. And so you're either going to be a functional inner child adult who's going to have a good time, and we're going to have a good time, or I'm going to learn how to handle your basically Cusco attitude, because by the 5th time of us interacting, you're going to have given it away, because you will not be discerning or equanimous. No, you'll correct me, and then you'll keep correcting me, and then you're going to keep coming in at me, and it's going to be in a way, it don't dismantle me, it just tells me you're putting a mask and you're dressing me up. And you're making me look however it is you think I am. So you're just going to continue interpreting with your voice and your thought process. And you don't really care to know me anyways, like my facade friend, because you actively do believe that what you think is more valid, and how you feel and how you interpret everything in life is more valid than my subjective thoughts and feelings as a differentiated self. As sort of science lady. I know better than you do. That's how Cusco acts. That's a left brain. That's why masculines are uninteresting. But we will learn their fate, their karma. We'll learn how they dress us up, and then it'll be cool, because an empowered feminine don't need to actually prove herself. And it's not a she because it's a woman. No, it's an inner child who's a functional child adult. My 0-1-year-old, she's taken care of very well by this and this and this and this. That's my mom who taught me how to self-respect. And my twin and my mom who got to help me to interact. Your first human beings are the herd that you will play out. I don't play out anything because I got to get all angry and pissy, and I got to respect myself. So there you go. And that's why love is easy, and that's why relationships are easy. And I also learned what splinters are and ruptures. I even got disowned at the age of 8. So I know it's not true. You can't disown me. You can't do anything. And that's invincible. That's why you can become an annoying teenager where the entire school bus apparently wanted to beat me up. I never even noticed it because also had they touched me, I would have totally ratted them out. Yeah, you're. They had nicknames for me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm not stupid. I like to learn things. You keep doing whatever you want." Tattertail, it's because of you. No, Tattertail, I don't know. But definitely, you jinxed us. We got caught. No, I just told you what was going to happen. You're smoking in the bathroom. What did you think? They weren't going to smell it? I mean, how old are you? So, for the discerning and equanimous person, there is no need to use our time or our voice with people who don't take care to take their mental health and their child part seriously. And I'm not joking because there's plenty of them that don't, like Patrick Tian points out. He's all over internet for free. Him alone, anyone who will have any of what he shares will know that. They will know it, that you want to deny it, you deny whatever you want. But a smart person doesn't deny the truth to themselves if they want to live a good life. If they don't, and they are okay with doing this, then they're okay with that. Which is why they won't take getting out of their doomsday or hostile or their doer or their are we good or they're ghosts, like my facade from their insecurity. So that young girl who then grew up, I mean, her entire excuse, no, it was her experience that women or girls were jealous of her. They made up a rumor, and her boyfriend, had a right to break up with her because the boy is okay. It's okay. The whole stereotypes. In the meantime, I'm just thinking, okay, I got why she didn't tell me. I asked other people. So by the time you get to a 19-year Maria, it's nobody knows how to tell the truth, God. I'm not, my faith isn't broken in humanity because humanity has balls. These people don't. That's about it. I ain't going to make a generalized statement, unlike the teenage boyfriend who also, by the way, made statements. And to this day, they live like humanity is evil, untrustworthy. It's not something that my brain is like, wow, they told me something new. No, they keep blaming Lucifer. They keep talking about evil. They keep talking about untrusting. It's all the Patrick Tiahan collective. They could use him so that their faith in humanity could be reestablished once their faith in themselves with the self would be established. But again, our split, the one you hear all those people out there talking about, yeah, it's called either you take seriously your mental health and getting yourself online, or you don't and you continue doing what Cuscos do. And that's why it's not our business if they don't want to take seriously, because we can't make people pursue inner well-being with a restorative embodiment, healthy, self-soothing, securely attached lifestyle mindset. You will actively hear them say they don't believe in it. So they don't believe in it. The individuals, they don't have interest in expanding consciousness. Their limited consciousness, in fact, has them listening to people say your brain can fall out of your asshole. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because seriously, what kind of an academic are you? You obviously don't know that there's a gazillion subject matters to learn from, different people, different books. You don't own them. Oh, I'm sorry. You get pissy in your pants the minute there's too many pieces of information. That's what happens when you got a limited brain in front of you. Cognitive dissonance, structural dissociation. I don't bother with any of sharing the minute somebody begins to get agitated, because their nervous system is going to give it away. I got an exile, a protector. I got a teenager in the room who's now taking something personally to the extent of not noticing their tone or their mannerism. I don't want to piss you off more than because one, I'm 4'9". Two, this is not my point. I'm trying to just talk, and now something's up and it's not mine. And the fact that you're not choosing to go the path of equanimity, so to calm yourself, to gain centeredness, and to get fun again, curious, open, accepting, and loving, tells me you're not a differentiated self. Some other shit's going on, and whatever it is, I don't want to have to deal with your 16-year-old who's going to try and prove something rigidly with a dumbed down brain, might I add, with 20, 50 pieces of information, versus noticing that, yeah, only reading 20 books or having 10 people speak to you doesn't make you right or wrong. It makes you a person who has 10 or 20 pieces of information and your own personal opinion, which you could share easily in a tone that is of a ventral vagal state with equanimity and with discernment, which means you have good judgment, not charged. No, wise, good judgment. I have a bunch of piece of information, my subjective life experience from my past with and I'm not knowing everything. And me getting charged, there's no point in it. Because even if I wanted to say I want to allow myself to prove something, which is a word I don't use personally because academics do it in a specific setting, you can do it in the expanded consciousness whole self version of you. But people think that I'm expressing my emotions when they're in their modulated embodiment, which I've seen people think that that is actually how to, again. So I am used to people like my facade friend and a bunch more with exiles, protectors, and then, and so that's also why now I know what tells. So anytime somebody begins to get pissy, I'm like, okay, we do things differently and you're not going to like how I want to talk, so it's okay. How about we just don't talk about any of it? And that's why people say you're avoiding. I am avoiding, yes, because I'm completely aware that I have a different way to use my way of love language and information, and how I like to explore topics also, because again, a discerning mind doesn't want to have any kind of unnecessary charged sympathetic state conversation, not to mention you're dumbed down because again the amygdala is ruling you as soon as you begin to get pissy. So you're also going to become slowly stupider by the minute, but you're also just going to keep using yesterday's news with me and you're just going to get agitated, and that's about it. So it's something that it's all about the self-bridled adaptive child part wanting you to take their side, which you're not going to do if you're a differentiated self. Empowered feminine does not say I am gonna no no, I'm a differentiated self. It's okay, you don't have to like me, I'll go out right now, it's cool, that's thank you so much, I respect this, that's it, I've accepted, respected, I'm going out. So this is I can share with you. Thankfully I'm here. Anyone who has questions, let me know. I didn't waste any of my time. Teenagers taught me all about how to handle any facade. My facade friend, I thank him to death. And those lovely twin flames and all my soulmates, they taught me also everything that I need to know about people who are emotionally immature, unavailable to themselves, their past self, all of this. It's really not fascinating. You know why? Because you love the people you love. Knowing that there are so many human beings out there who could use Patrick Tiahan and Terry and live a better life than what they're living, because they would learn how to work with their child parts in a way that would be amazing. I mean, it makes me sad, but that's why God keeps telling me not to judge human suffering, because he tells me, because he says, not your business. Remember, suffering is part of it for some people, and they might want it, like that Zen master, so you leave it alone. And therefore, we leave it alone. Those who do not want to expand consciousness, they don't want to achieve their higher potential, the higher frequency state, and they don't want to choose to pursue a restorative embodiment state. We don't make them. The law doesn't make them, because law will follow that which is physical safety, societal organization. Actively, we want to try our best to ensure that we can stay all feeling protected. Like I have my own subjective experience with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. I'm interested in hopefully maintaining countries that can allow me to say, this is my subjective experience. I'm not making any statements that, I'll do all the spiel, but I want to be able to chit chat about it. I'll do it so that I can chit chat about it. That's why I tell you, food for thought. Subjective experience, not statements. People think it's ridiculous. It's not, because people need to hear it, because sometimes they're like, yeah, you're touching something personal. I'm not trying to touch your personal stuff. I'm sharing you my personal stuff. You don't have to be here. You can be somewhere else. So the more that we can be discerning, equanimous, the tone gives it away, but also the people can accept or not. And that's why when people do this, I'm not like, oh my God, they don't like my content. No, because I'm not sharing content for you to do this. I'm building a community, number one. You're getting to know me, number two. And I'm sharing stories and topics, and that's where you're not paying for anything. The paid subscription-based model content is for exercises or for practicals. This is us chit-chatting and me allowing you to know who I am and my opinions and thoughts and so forth. Never thought social media would be taken as data by people. I actively now know, wow, people really need to go back to school and then get a bachelor's, or at least understand research and academia and why there's a system. Even if they don't like it, don't matter. There's a reason. When I think of things as facts, it's only the good data people. And when it's private, that's a whole different story, and I don't need to use any stories with it. I will know you're privately conducting something. It's as if Maria did something privately, which is why when they say pseudoscience lady, I'm like, yeah. So again, anybody who's a researcher or academic or knowing why there are those groups will know the value of them and will not in any way, shape, or form take private as valid the same way as that which has a very specific basis. Also, sure, if a scientist says there's never been a medium ever, it's not true, but we can leave it alone because, again, data still will have a way that it's replicated. And in time, the data, the sciences people have shown how their data supports. The ones who want to completely dismantle it, I mean, again, they're just talking to you about flat earth, no moon, no reality. Some of them are scientists. We live with, there's a bountiful of individuals. Again, they come together. Let's get together. Yeah. So we have a good time with all because one, ego's blind. So those people who think they know more, they don't notice anything and they actively are blind. Okay, I'm going to stop so we can close it out. But there is going to be incompatibility with those who do not want to be anchored in a fun mood because they won't want to be around us. And so if we're restorative embodiment and anchored in ventral and connection, and the other person is in their hypervigilance and protective mode, being a dysregulated and modulated embodiment, we're going to have one person is authentic while the other is not and performs with subconscious mechanisms of their adaptive child defense mode that stem from their child parts. And that's self with shame and insecurities. It's not good or bad because a healthy self-worth human being who self-regulates in their ventral vagal state will always know how to share, hey, I accept, love, and respect you for who you are. That's really all an adaptive child will want. And so at the Cusco Pacha level, okay? So Cusco can become a Pacha, but that's if they choose to want to become a discerning, equanimous, lover person who's securely attached and who is also non-traumatized because they can process the emotions and thoughts with being in their awareness and focused attention and choosing kind intention. And that's why mindfulness practices, mindset skills, and inner growth mindset support people to choose love, the restorative embodiment, but it isn't a must. So for the 5D collective of mystic, spiritual, and mindful people, we choose it on purpose because why would we say no to our inner and outer well-being? But also we love and share life, and we know that that means supporting each other. And you cannot do this in a hypervigilant heart-mind that is led by not only those who lost faith in humanity, but they don't have faith in a relationship. They are angry, disgruntled, protective, and untrusting adaptive child parts who need therapists like Patrick Tihan or Terry Real to learn to love themselves first, but also so that they don't bring in their adaptive child, which, like my facade friend, ends up being one of the biggest and more disappointments. But see, disappointment is not a good or bad thing because then I say it's not fair for you to be disappointed in a friend of yours because they didn't hear you the way you will have wanted them to. That's their subjective experience, reality, and their capacity. But the explanation is I got a facade human being who's a past self who has in fact continued to live their fulfilling prophecy. So when I, as a person who does come with God, Spirit, Akash Source, as a mystic who knows Dharma, I do Dharma because I'm a conscious brain. And I'm an integrated brain, and I'm a restored, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating life person, and anyone can achieve this with ventral vagal toning and integration of the brain. If they don't want it, they don't have to, and no, none of them are Lucifer or evil. They're just people who have exiles, protectors, and their little hypervigilant lack of faith in humanity. My teenage boyfriend made me very well aware, so did all the other teenagers, which is why I said by the time I'm 19, I don't see Lucifer. And as a grown-up, there is none. What today with mysticism I can tell you, love and fear. There's two sides of a coin, and with Robert Sapolsky and his book Determined, Nobody Has Free Will, and with a trauma therapist, they explained to me what the first 3 years of life are for a person. Therefore, I have answers. I can tell you all about those who are their true self, those who are not, and those who are not won't actually in any way, shape, or form become aware, accountable, or regulate in their ventral energy. They'll say it's all bullshit and they're trying to manipulate you, and they'll keep doing what we are already seeing right now. So in the meantime, we get to be ourselves, mindful, flawed, with integrity, and know that integrity is what other people say about you won't matter, but we will not be ashamed of what we have done, because at the end of the day, again, when I think of smart, it is only in the way of using what the Sam Harris quote says. If your beliefs are not falsifiable, if there's no scenario that could convince you that your most cherished opinions are in error, then that's proof that you didn't get them by being in contact with reality, because you are a rigid, unforgiving, harsh human being who actively, as an adaptive child, will not learn new skills. You will not notice your rigidity. You will not notice you're being a buffoon. You will also not notice that you're limited because you don't know everything. So you will be arrogant. I don't need to address you. I can allow myself to leave it alone so that you can prance around with Pinocchio, Wendy, and all the lost boys and lost girls and continue with your protective mode. And so it's not really something, again, impressive, but yeah, fear consistently lives life with love as long as consciousness is embodied. And that's where the human evolution and consciousness from a spiritual mystic, not a scientist, a woo-woo pseudoscience lady. The scientists, they talk about consciousness as a problem, as intelligence. They have a whole way. I'll get to learn about it in time, but in the meantime, I bring to you the sciences from the personal development self-help perspective. Yes, some quantum physics, esotericism in my own way, as you know, but my point is I'm not a mathematician. And I am a storyteller, but not a storyteller of we wear cloaks. No, a different type. I share with you my story so you can get a perspective. And then when it comes to our tiers, it will be content that supports your inner growth mindset, mindfulness mindset practices for your personal development as you wanting to be yourself. And I don't like creating groups, but there is the 5D collective, if you will, because of honoring, one, Christ consciousness, but also the frequency of love. And because some of us are 5D mystics and beyond, without the stories of 6th, 7th, 11th consciousness, even though we might look into that one as well in the future. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And you can always ask me to give you subjective opinion about some topic that you randomly are curious about. I'll do what I can. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to give you my subjective thoughts. And if I don't know, I'll just say, okay, so I got the question. And I'm not shy like that. But you can email me, is what I was going to say. And for mentorship, one-to-one, email. And to sign up for the masterclass of the future and the workshops and that stuff as well. And yes, do remember, we have fan base and we have our lovely Spotify and other audio podcast platforms. If you want to become a paid subscriber, those are options. And when we have a certain number, I'll roll out with video exercises for that type of paid subscription-based model content. And for YouTube, we're still waiting. So we'll be waiting for a while. And once the tiers are out actually on YouTube, I have plans for more than just that. But yeah, subscribe to the audio just in case we need that one for backup, and fan base as well, just because I like to have more than one area to be on. But and again, for now, that's where the video exercises would go in the first place. And we'll choose based on which one gets to the number that I'm looking for. And I will keep you posted. So thanks for tuning in. Again, like, share, and subscribe. And if you know people who do love to love and live and laugh and learn and expand and not cast stones, and they love all about spiritual and mysticism with the mindfulness stuff, send them over, because we're integrating it all. So obviously some people might be bored with the spiritual mystic stuff. In time, I'm sure they'll make up their mind. But I love all of it. All information is good, and it's always expanding us, and in the most amazing and interesting of ways. I wish that fear would be able to join the love side. That's definitely something that would be. But I understand. Dark matter, dark energy. It is what it is. Okay, so have a good one.